If you go in there, you won't come out the same. No, you won't. Hey, this is Tommy Chong, and welcome to Bourbon Soaked Live.
You had to get that in there?
I did. Whew! Wow, that'll wake your ass up. Hey, y'all. I am Juliette Miranda, and welcome to Bourbon Soak Live. For the next hour or so, we're going to be drinking bourbon, sharing our favorite stories, and just hanging out here on YouTube. It's the coolest place to be on Monday night. So sitting behind the scenes over there, I want to introduce you to my guy, David the producer.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ugh, that hat.
It was a request from Wes, so I figured, why not? I'll put it on.
You know, that thing's becoming our new mayonnaise cannon.
No, it's not. This is awesome. This hat represents who I am as a man. It doesn't really.
No, no, it doesn't. Thank you for taking that off.
No,
all right,
it has
good.
nothing to do with it.
We're good now. So how y'all doing tonight? We got a ton of people hanging out in the chat with us, and let's give everybody a big hello. We've got Wes hanging out with us. Container Man has officially stopped and has taken his hands off the wheel, which is a little alarming.
He's parked on the side. He's
all
good.
right, well, he is. Okay, that's good. I saw our buddy Jerry is here, and Ginger is here. Who else do we have? Did I see J Real Slots stop by to say hello?
Maybe.
I think
possibly,
I did.
Possibly. You also have Charles.
Charles Ashworth. Hello, sir. Greetings. And, Trev Wilson is also here. Tham's World. Hello, y'all.
And yes, J Real Slots.
Welcome to Bourbon Soak Live.
Yeah, we had a blast going out and gambling with him. We have to do that again.
Oh my gosh. Talk about somebody who knows how to work the system. I mean, this guy has got the mechanics of slot machines down.
Yeah, go out and check out his channel
crazy.
if you haven't seen it. If you like, slot machines, and he's got a great YouTube channel.
He does. I see April Wright has joined us, so hello. Thanks for being here. I wanted to point out something. We have a new addition to the Bourbon Soak Live set. Ta-da! Look how official I am. The show is burned onto a whiskey cask. It was designed by April Helman, and she has an Etsy shop called Helman Designs. She does all sorts of cool, customized things just like this. Amazing stuff. She was so awesome to do this for us. Love her to death, and this is seriously cool stuff. So thank you, April. And if y'all want to check out her stuff, we do have a link in the description.
Yeah, go out there in the description. She not only just does barrel heads, but she has all kinds of other stuff she does that's bourbon related.
Yeah.
Very cool. She's got right now a Christmas wreath out there that is made out of bourbon slats. Coolest thing.
Yeah, seriously cool stuff. If you dig your bourbon art, she's got some good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of bourbon, what are y'all drinking tonight? Hey.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Bourbon. Oh, y'all, our friends, the Scotch Test Dummies, call this stuff a bottle of wow. And yes, it is.
Yeah, got to give those guys some thumbs up for, kind of showing us the way with this one. We didn't have it before, did we?
No, we had. We absolutely had.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. We're drunks. We forget stuff.
Well, one of us is. So this is barrel proof, which means my particular release here is 122 proof.
That'll kick you right in your ass.
It is potent stuff, but what I love about this is that it's a high corn bourbon with a little bit of rye and then malted barley. So the end result, despite being 122 proof, is incredibly creamy, but also it's got that black pepper sort of flavor to it. So, y'all, glasses up. Cheers, and thanks for being here.
Cheers to you. We got some cool new people that have just joined us. Tham's World. We have Dave Larson just joined us. Hey, Dave.
Dave Larson. I saw Trev Wilson is here. And he's saying that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is delicious. Might even be his #1 favorite pour. I got to say.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my #1, but it is absolutely up there because it's just perfect in every way.
Vexicare is drinking tea. Totally cool. It's a Monday night. Totally get that.
Always good. Always good. I'm a tea gal. If you've never had it, I highly recommend Adagio teas. They do loose leaf teas, and they are just amazing. So flavorful. And they have one that actually, it's a pura, and it has a very sort of scotch-like flavor. Oh, so good.
Yeah, and Boomer D is in the house.
Well, hello, Boomer D. Y'all, thanks for being here. So if you like what you are watching, make sure you share this out. Give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well, because if this is going to be the coolest place on Monday night to hang, well, we got to let people know, right?
Yeah, Monday nights are typically not cool. Boy, are we trying hard. Especially after a 4-day weekend.
At the very least, I'm just happy to be here drinking with people rather than curled up alone in my room.
We just like extending our weekends. That's all we like doing.
Exactly. Whew. This is potent. I don't know what's going to be happening to me by the end of the show, but
122 proof.
Yeah, and I haven't doctored this up with any water or anything.
I'll dim the studio lights. I got an idea.
No, we've talked about this.
I know, that's a different kind of channel.
That's a different kind of channel, different hard drive, different laptop.
But I still think it's the same demographic, all the people that are watching.
Yeah, considering, our Wesses and our Cherries.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of all of you crazy folks, here's what I want you to do. Take a photo of yourself watching the show. Put it up on Twitter and use the hashtag BourbonSoakedLive. So we've got a couple people from last week that I want to shout out. And of course, here's our crazy friend Container Man, who is all done up in red. I swear, you are the perfect redhead and everything else. I gotta say, you are trouble when you are left to your own devices, sir. You really are. And then, of course, from last week, we have Ginger and Will, who are looking all cozy and awesome from last week. So you guys are so supportive. I love you two to death because you're always here. You're always hanging out. And Ginger is getting me the skinny on a different bourbon release that I've never had before called Red Cedar. And I'm dying to try it. So hopefully maybe in the next couple of months, we'll be able to talk about that on the show.
And I have a question for Will. It's either a robe or a Snuggie. I can't figure it out.
Oh, he's hanging out like Hugh Hefner.
Okay, it's a robe.
Oh, yeah, he's rocking the badass smoking jacket kind of thing.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I see that our friend Jenny has joined us. She is one of our moderators, and she will be, along with David, keeping things moving in the chat there for us.
One of our moderators? She is the moderator.
Well, you also get in there. And,
I do. I get in there a little bit.
I see Tammy Minda is here, and this is the first live stream. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time out. Today, we're going to be sharing our heroes. I figured it being the beginning of the holiday season and just having had Thanksgiving, I kind of wanted to talk about some people that I'm really grateful not necessarily to have known, but to have been influenced by. So I want to know who your heroes are. Be sure to share them in the chat and get the conversation going so we can all, learn about the things that inspire us.
Yeah, we've had a whole bunch of people join. We got RWC, which that's
Oh,
Ron.
sure. I know Ron, of course. I see Bill Belair is here as
Tammy.
well. A
Yep.
real wicked Canadian is here, and you are new, so thanks for joining us tonight.
William.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Boomer
William's
D
here.
is here as well.
Yep. And I think we got everyone.
All right, I think we do. Well, what do you say, y'all? Let's start talking about the people that inspire us and make us who we are. Now, I've gone through and thought about everybody that has, inspired me and influenced me. And I see Jerry is saying clearly Elijah Craig is one of my heroes. And I was just about to say that it would seem as though most of the people on my list are somehow boozers or crazy or renegades. I don't know what that says about me, but
I saw your list, and I'm still looking for my name in there. Where do I fit in?
Oh.
I thought I was your biggest... No? Nothing?
that's implied.
Oh. Nice try. Nice try.
You are the hero of producers everywhere. Oh, don't give me that look.
Jenny's dropping links in there. Thank you for putting the podcast
You are
out there.
so fast on the links, Jenny. I love it.
Yep.
All right. Well, what do you say? Let's get to my first pick of the lot of crazies. And that's not the best photo of her, my love, but it is Katharine Hepburn. Please tell me there's a better shot of her in here.
Oh, there's plenty of
Okay.
B-roll.
Oh, that's her from Lion in Winter. Katharine Hepburn, y'all, is just the coolest lady I can think of. I mean, she did what she wanted, she wore what she wanted, and she fucked who she wanted. I mean, just a hot lady who was smart and so talented. I mean, she won 4 Academy Awards. And here's how, like, just self-confident she was. They did a documentary about her, and she insisted that it be called All About Me. So
That's a badass chick right there.
if I ever have a documentary about me, I totally want it to be called All About Me, because exactly, that's what it is.
Oh, we have in the chat Hunter S. Thompson from William.
Oh, Hunter S. Thompson,
Also
yes.
Ginger.
What did Ginger say?
Hunter S. Thompson as well.
Wow, you know what, y'all? I gotta agree with you on that, because his writing is just so. It's crazy, but it makes so much sense at the same time. Like, I love his essays about the Kentucky Derby. I mean, he really knows how to show the reality of stuff in this incredible stream of consciousness sort of way. I mean, just fascinating writer, crazy as all hell. And I mean, the guy was blasted out of a cannon after he died. How cool
That's
is
the
that?
way to go. That is the way to go. Donna Cantor just joined us, by the way.
Oh, yay, Donna. Thanks for joining us. And I see Jerry is giving me shit about Katharine Hepburn.
Well, her voice as she got older did get really
It
warbly.
became a little affected, I think, as she got older.
She talked like this.
I know. She was a little Michael J. Foxy there. But
A little bit.
still, I mean, in her heyday, if you will, I mean, just cool lady. Cool lady.
Oh, Ginger says, my lady hero is Bell Hooks.
Bell Hooks. You're going to have to
know
tell
who
me
Bell
who Bell
Hooks
Hooks is. I don't know.
I know bra hooks and I know fishing hooks.
Fishing hooks. I know fishnet hooks.
That's all I got.
West Haven, always and forever. Juliette, me, hello, great to see you. We are talking heroes, and so far we've had some pretty great contenders. Now, I've nominated Katharine Hepburn, but we've also been talking about Hunter S. Thompson, and 8 Ginger clarifies that Bell Hooks is a writer. Well,
Bell Hooks
tell
is
me
a
more.
writer.
Tell me more. What'd she write? I gotta know.
Bell Hooks. We're going to have to look her up. Never heard of her. It says she's a writer.
West Haven is calling out Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, she was hot back in the
Ooh.
day.
She wasn't hot. She was
But
beautiful.
no, she was beautiful, but she was also smart, which made her hot. Does that make sense?
She was very smart, but I look at her as being almost demure. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as just being very elegant
Sure.
and refined.
Yeah, elegant and refined is a great way to explain
And
her.
such a style setter, too. I mean, and that's another reason why I like Katharine Hepburn is because they wore what they wanted. I mean, Audrey Hepburn was very big on wearing flats. And actually, Katharine Hepburn, she had this whole thing. She hated wearing shoes. She hated shoes flat out. In one of her movies, she actually refused to wear them, which I love. I would totally do that because fuck shoes. And fuck pants.
Did you read Bill?
No, where am I
Awesome.
looking here? What has he got? My heroes are the vets that gave all for their country and the ones that were willing to give them their all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree 100%. Our veterans
Unsung heroes.
are just unsung heroes, and we don't do enough for them today when they come back.
I would even, go beyond that. And vets are, of course, in that realm. But you also have first responders and
Oh, absolutely. Our
policemen
policemen,
and all
absolutely.
that. But I also think that teachers, for what they get paid and what they do, I think is
know. It's brutal.
tragic.
And there's not enough
Tragic.
respect for people who really put themselves on the line, who go out there and fight for our rights, or who go out there to educate the children of this country. I mean, we really put a lot of responsibility on them, and you're right, they don't get enough credit for it.
Well, and Jerry, who's in the chat right now, he was part
Can
of a
we
school
say
board.
that?
Oh yeah, we can say he was
Oh,
part of a
all right,
school
all
board.
right.
I'm just not going to say where.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I will say this. I make fun of Jerry all the time, but I totally respect the fact that he was part of a school board without actually having any kids in that school district.
Right. He
I
did
mean-
it as a civil service.
Exactly, which I think is
Well,
amazing.
and he wanted his township to be fiscally responsible, right? So, and Jerry says, "Fuck the teachers." Of course he does. 'Cause
Well, of course,
That's Jerry.
we understand you don't like the teachers.
we understand Jerry doesn't like anyone.
I just give you a compliment and you give me crap. I love you, Jerry.
And Wes, by the way, says Betty Page. Betty Page.
Ah, one of
Hero.
the first pinup queens.
Yeah.
And a bit of a bondage one as well.
Early, right?
Early bondage, one
Early
of the early
bondage
ones, yeah.
pinup.
Although she really wasn't very accepting of what her choices were as she got older. In fact, she went through a very long period where she refused to acknowledge it at all, which always disappointed me a little bit. I feel like if you put yourself out there and you make that decision to be there, you should honor that for the rest of your life.
Honor it and own it.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have such a dedicated fan base.
Right.
I mean, there are
Oh.
festivals of people dedicated to Betty Page who dress up like her and who,
Oh,
you know,
the amount of tattoos that are honored
Exactly.
in her name? It's crazy.
yeah, I mean, if that were me, I would just be floored. Even if it wasn't something that I was, necessarily pleased with myself over, I would own it.
Yep. WTF Mike is here.
Oh, yay, WTF Mike is here. That's
Philip
awesome.
Cochran just joined us.
Great, y'all. Oh, I see Donner Pass Whiskey is here as well.
Nice.
Donner Pass, our drink of choice tonight is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof at 122 proof, which means by the end of the show, things are going to get very interesting.
Yeah, you're going to be hammered.
There's a line from Jerry that we can remove from review. There we go.
Yeah. She did nudes.
Excellent. She did. She.
But I think it was just topless, wasn't it?
There are very few of them, but yes, there are a few topless ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never went full nude, but she did some pinup stuff
She did.
early in her career.
Yeah, and she had that very sharp look with the bangs across the
Right.
eyes. I could never pull off bangs.
Well, and she didn't she start that craze? Kind of?
Well, I don't know if she started it,
But she made it famous.
but she definitely had a lot to do with it becoming a very rockabilly thing.
Right. Okay.
I see Boomer D is going to be leaving us, so thanks for being here tonight. It was great seeing you.
Great to see you, Boomer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out, man.
Oh, Jerry. No Bush.
No, but
Come on, it was a simpler time then.
Jerry doesn't understand simpler times.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I see Patrick Fulmer has joined us. He's been having some technical issues over the past 2 weeks, so it's so good to see you here tonight, sir. And like I said, our drink of choice is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, what do you say we move on to our next hero? And this would be Walt Disney. And if I get a little choked up during the segment, you're going to have to forgive me, because something you may not know about me is that I am a rabid Disney fan. I love Disney. Love it so much because Walt Disney found a way to make magic real. It was this combination of science and creativity, and he put no restrictions on anything. I mean, if somebody had an idea and it was a good one, then he would just tell them to run with it. And he used his own money to fund what would eventually become the Imagineers. And these are the people behind all of the magic of the Walt Disney World parks. Just a genius.
Well, you should also mention that Imagineers thing going on Disney Plus right now.
Oh my gosh.
Is that Disney Plus? Yes.
It's Disney
right?
Plus. So I lost about 25 or 7 hours of my life this weekend to Disney Plus. And part of that was to the Imagineer story on there. There are 4 episodes right now, and it tells the story of Walt Disney and the Walt Disney World parks. So it goes through the beginning of Disneyland and how that grew, and then it goes into Walt Disney World and Epcot and Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom as they are today. It's fascinating.
But it's really a love letter to the Imagineers, though.
Oh, well, it was made by the Imagineers, so it's a little bit of a love letter to themselves.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? The innovation they created, I mean, lingers on today and has even been adopted by, space programs.
That's just it. I mean, Disney worked with NASA. He worked with NASA, he worked with, who am I thinking of? The World's Fair to develop the attractions for that.
In New York, 1964, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were no limits to what he would do or what he would create for people. And I know there's a tendency now to look back at the Disney empire and call them commercial or Americanized or whatever you want to. But I feel like at the core, they're about innovation. And there just isn't enough of that in the world right now. I mean, we were talking about this when we were watching the series. There are no visionaries left. I mean, I think the only visionary we have left would be Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah, that's the only innovator that I can think. Well, there's innovators in their own space, but when you think about technology that progresses society, and I'm not talking about computers, and I'm not talking. I really think that it's lacking right now. I don't
think
see
creativity is lacking right now, and that's what it comes down to. It's not just the science. It has to be a balance of science and creativity to harness that magic.
And we have viewed this. Tony just came in. We have Nancy. Nancy popped in here as well.
I believe I saw Lady Swan in there also saying she's a Disney fan.
Oh, I didn't see. Oh, okay.
Which is awesome.
Very cool.
So, y'all, thank you for being here. And make sure you let me know who your heroes are. I haven't looked in the chat. Have we had any other mentions of who people admire?
People, let's see, just agreeing with some of them. I don't think we've had any new ones.
Although I do see lots of love for Disney, and that makes me happy.
Which is awesome.
So what do you...
Jerry says, so no Bush. Oh, that was a...
I was just about to say, this list is going to be all over the place because we were just talking about Bush, and then...
Yeah, he didn't mean the president.
Not the president.
That's a whole different kind of Bush.
Which then rolls into Disney, and now we're going to roll into another one of my heroes, who would be Dorothy Parker. Perhaps the greatest drunken writer next to Ernest Hemingway.
She's not good, not really easy on the eyes, I'll tell you that.
That's an older photo of her.
I know that.
She
was actually a little cuter when she was younger. Okay.
She was a satirist. She's a writer, a screenwriter, a poet. She was the founder of the Algonquin Round Table, which she kind of made fun of a little bit and played off as just being a bunch of, loudmouths showing off. But it was a group of passionate, hardcore writers who covered everything, every just society event in New York. They wrote for Vanity Fair. They wrote for The New Yorker. I mean, these were the cultural commentators of the time. And this was like the 20s and 30s. Just a smart, really witty, funny lady. And she was actually fired from Vanity Fair for pissing off too many people. I mean, how badass is that?
Yeah, she was, well, there's a plaque, and actually I think that's in this video here. There's a plaque in the Algonquin that talks about that, and Vanity Fair, and all the writers that were part of that. But she was pretty tough.
She was hard on everybody. I mean, there was...
the political system in New York.
She was for a while blacklisted by Hollywood because of the whole communism scare.
Right.
They believed she was a communist, which she absolutely was not. She was just a hard, really insightful woman. And she wrote one of my favorite poems ever. And I'm not one to spout off poetry, but there are a couple lines from it that are just freaking fantastic. She says, "If I had some poison gas, I could make the moments pass, bumping off a number of whom I do not love." Now, if you're not a fan of poetry, you hear that, you're like, oh, all right, maybe I can dig poetry, because that's just cool. I love it.
Container Man says one of his heroes, the Duke.
John Wayne.
Yeah.
Wow.
That goes back.
That's a good person to admire. Just raw, visceral, hardcore guy.
Well, he was, early Hollywood's man's man.
He was,
right?
Absolutely. I saw that, I believe it was Will mentioned Charles Bukowski.
Bukowski. I'm surprised he didn't make your list, to be honest.
I was really, really considering it, but he was edged out by my number 5, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I love Bukowski. I think Women is probably hands down his best book.
See, now Jerry says his hero is George Washington, greatest human being ever.
George Washington is the greatest human being ever?
That's what he says.
Wow. Well, all right. I can't say I know that much about Washington to make any sort of statement one way or another.
Did you not have history class?
Well, of course I did, but I mean,
I know,
you know
but
what
all
you
those
learn in
stories are
history.
bullshit anyway. The chopping down of the cherry tree
Well,
and
yeah,
all that.
I
That doesn't
cannot
matter.
tell a lie.
But he, being the first president, he was committing,
Well, he certainly did have the ability to shape who we are.
He had the balls to actually go against the British and say, okay, I'm going to be the first president of this. You could take your king and queen and go screw yourself.
Wow, if they'd explained it to me like that in high school, I might have been a little more engaged.
Exactly.
Wow. So today's history lesson is brought to you by David, the producer.
What do I know?
But yes, Charles Bukowski. Oh, yeah, such just a raw writer.
Oh, and Dave Larson says George or Barbara Bush, which I think he's just kidding.
I don't know if he is or not, but I will say Barbara Bush needed to kind of clean up her look a little bit. Just the old pearls and the poofy white hair.
And Tony's giving me nothing but shit here in the chat, so yes, I'm acknowledging it. Yes,
What did you do? Why is he bothering you?
I haven't read the whole part of the thread, but that he's back to David, the director. I don't get to be producer anymore.
Oh, why
I just
is
got
that?
a demotion.
Well, it seems to me, well, I don't know. Only I can demote you. What's he doing?
Yeah. And Container Man says Chuck Yeager.
Chuck Yeager.
Yeah. Wasn't he the first to break the speed of sound?
I believe so, yes.
That was Chuck Yeager? I think so.
He was a pilot. I wanted to say he was an astronaut, but he's a pilot.
No, he was a pilot, but then
he was involved in the space program, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he also did, I think, ground test speeds and things like that.
I believe so, but I'm not too
not really up on Chuck
him.
Yeager too much, so
Yeah.
I could be speaking completely out of my ass.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I don't like, though, is Jägermeister. That stuff is swill. Jerry says, all the pretentious fops of the time, the Algonquin Round Table. Yes, exactly. Kind of like the Bad Cop show.
Yes. Very similar.
Jerry says, my favorite poem starts, there once was a man from Nantucket. Oh, what? You're not going to read the rest of it to us, Jerry? All right.
And Jenny Marset said that her hero is her dad.
Well, speaking of, what do you say we bring up number 4? Yep, that would be my dad. He refused to allow me to show his image on YouTube. So instead, I am showing scenes from his basement laboratory. And that is one of the many Tesla coils that he built in his basement lab, where he generates lightning on the regular.
Yeah, he builds everything from special effects to doing it for museums.
He's done it for the government. He's done it for museums. Yeah. He actually started off working for a park district doing pyrotechnic displays, and he's worked with a couple rock bands. My dad is a physicist, and he is brilliant, and he's probably one of the most influential people in my life because he really taught me to be independent. And he was one of the people who first kind of showed me how you can embrace science and be creative at the same time. My dad is an incredible storyteller, and he has this magnificent way of, making a point and being creative about it and also setting things on fire.
Yes, he set many things afire, ablaze, if you will.
The first time I brought David home to meet my parents, my dad said, hey, I want to show you something. And at first, I was thinking he was going to show him the bearskin rug. Way back in the day when my dad was a hunter, he shot a bear, and it's been turned into a rug. And that's what he used to scare my high school dates with. Instead, knowing that David was a little bit more important to me than one of my high school dates, he took him down into the lab.
Yes.
And didn't he give you a fluorescent tube and say,
And hold this.
Yeah, he said, hold this.
Hold this while I turn on the Tesla coil. It lit up on my hand, and he thought it would scare me. And I just go, oh, it's static electricity from that. I go, that's pretty cool. And he goes, He looked all dejected, like, oh, I thought I'd get him.
Well, then he tried to freak you out with one of his favorite lines. He goes, "Don't get too close. It'll burn you from the inside out."
Yeah.
And you refused to take the bait.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's when my dad knew that you were okay.
Mash and Drum just joined us.
Mash
Jason.
and Drum is here. That's awesome. Cheers to you. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, we also have Malted in Montreal.
Excellent, excellent. I can't see all of the chat. Could you bring it down for me?
Moving it down. Sorry.
There we
Just move
go.
a little faster.
Oh. David the Key Grip, I like it.
Yeah, that's about where it's going these days.
I see Viewed Grip has viewed this.
Viewed Grip?
Viewed Grip, whatever. Has also called out George Carlin as
George Carlin, comedy hero.
Absolutely.
I think just about every comedian that I value, he's always in either the top 1, 2, or 3.
Absolutely. I mean, so insightful. And of course, very ironic in the way that he delivered things like, the dirty words. And
Yeah, he just didn't start that way, though. He didn't become what I'll consider, heavily introspective until
that comes later.
It comes much later.
Yeah.
And he turned into what I believe, and I agree 100% with Tony, I would put him in my top 2.
Your top 2?
Yes.
Well, who's your number 1?
Me.
Oh, you are. Absolutely.
No.
You're so cute.
My top 1, and everyone's going to laugh at this and probably think it's ridiculous, but I always just had a tremendous amount of respect for him, was Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
I know he's
Wow.
not as... He doesn't craft as elegant of jokes and stories as George Carlin, because George Carlin's a storyteller. And I think that's the difference between a storytelling comic
and a wisecracker, sort of.
A joke
a joke teller.
Yeah, guys that are just telling jokes.
Right.
Big difference.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to the storytellers. Although Bill Burr is kind of a combination of the two. I mean, he's very punchy, but he also does tell stories around his jokes. Also, similar to that would be Robert Schimmel. Oh, so funny. Just we saw him live before his car accident, and just an amazingly funny man.
He was crazy good. And you see that Gaffa Haynes joined us as well?
Gaffa! Wow, we were just talking about you the other day, saying that we hadn't seen you in quite some time. It's great for you to be here.
Yeah, I bumped into him in one live stream, but he's been busy.
Well, we all are. I get it, but I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. We're talking heroes tonight, sir. And right now we're talking about comedians, but...
Yeah, you see what Tammy wrote?
Anthony Hopkins.
Great actor.
Great actor. Oh my gosh, yes. I have a love-hate relationship with actors in general.
Why is that?
I think it's because I've interviewed a couple, and I always want them to be as brilliant as their characters are.
Yeah.
In fact, we were just talking about this with that.
Failure.
There was an interview in GQ with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Right.
And I love the two of them as actors. I do. But they just weren't insightful in the interview. And it was no fault of the interviewer. I think that's just who they are. And I always hope that I'm going to get a little bit more than I do from, just their everyday personas. Right. And I mean, that's just, them being real people. I get it. And, you can't be Casino every day.
It's so true. I'm passing one up here.
Oh, yeah, you're scrolling through
you
things.
See William's comment? He has podcast heroes. And he lists you.
Oh, well, that's super nice.
Well, he lists a lot of people.
I do. I see a lot of people there. But most importantly, me.
Hey, you're not that special. Back it down there, chick.
Oh, come on. It's all about me. No, and I saw somebody mentioned it earlier, and I didn't call it out, and I meant to, but they were also talking about YouTube creators that they admire. And just putting yourself out there, with whatever it is you do, whether it's a podcast or, a YouTube show, it takes a tremendous amount of courage and work. Yeah. And even if, it's not spectacular, you have to admire people just for putting it out there.
Very true. And you see Elder, which, by the way, hello.
Hello.
Says Ulysses.
Ulysses. Well, that's an interesting one.
I'd like to know why Ulysses.
Yeah, I'd really like a little bit more narrative around this. What's the reasoning? Interesting. Jerry, what?
Jason says your dad is Thor. Pretty much. Yeah.
My dad, whenever people ask me about him, I always describe my dad as being a grown-up version of Sheldon from, what's that nerd show?
Why can't I think of it now?
I know. It was in my head 2 seconds ago. Big
Right.
Bang Theory.
Big Bang.
Big Bang Theory. My dad is brilliant. He's socially awkward. As he gets older, he just becomes more cantankerous and opinionated. And he's just always been an amazing guy and just really a cool dad. He was the one who would go to rock concerts with me when I was, interviewing bands when I was younger. And he would pose as my photographer. Like, he was never there as my dad. He was just there as some guy that the magazine hired to take photographs. And he'd always just be in the background in case, I got into a tough situation or something, but he was totally cool about it. And at the time, my dad says that I made his hair go gray. And I don't think that's entirely accurate, but he had this really long gray ponytail, so he actually kind of looked like a roadie. And if I couldn't get him backstage initially, he'd wind up talking his way backstage pretending to be a roadie. So my dad's a multi-talented kind of guy.
People giving some shout-outs and love to Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
It's Working Dirty Work, yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then Dave Larson. Red Fox, a guy who I think
that's a
was
deep dive.
underrated.
Underrated, for sure.
I don't think he really got the due that he should have. He was the predecessor to Richard Pryor, obviously.
Absolutely.
Right? And he was doing dirty stuff live and getting arrested for it after Lenny Bruce. It kind of paved that way. He's like, I'm running down that road. He did not care. He's
like, fuck it.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
That's dangerous comedy. You got to appreciate dangerous comedy.
Oh, absolutely. And I love the honesty of comedy. You take somebody like Richard Pryor who can make a joke about setting himself on fire. It comes from such a dark place, but he's able to turn it into something so relatable and just so, poignant. You have to laugh. I think it's just brilliant.
And Malton in Montreal says, I'm guessing the producer isn't a Bernie fan.
As in?
I guess Bernie Sanders, I'm guessing.
No.
Or Bernie, who else?
Bernie Mac?
Bernie Mac?
That's the only other Bernie I can think of.
It's Bernie the dinosaur? I don't know. I got nothing.
I got nothing, Bernie.
Blended Whiskey says hello.
Oh, hey, Blended Whiskey. So what are you drinking tonight? Me, I am doing the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Well, I was. I have very little left in my glass, but that's probably all right.
Well, you still got some in the bottle.
Oh.
Reach over there.
I'll hold off on that and just wait until I'm done with this.
There you go.
So, speaking of boozers, what do you say we move on to number 5?
You're number 5?
Yes.
All righty.
For all you writing fans out there, Papa Hemingway. Oh, Hem. Everything about Ernest Hemingway makes me happy. He was a journalist before he was a novelist. And there's something that he said which just always resonated with me. He said, writing at best is a lonely life. And it's so true because writing is so personal and you are so isolated as a writer that no matter who you are with and no matter what you are around, it always comes down to what's inside you. And Hemingway had this incredible capacity for understanding what was real and knowing how to just cull it down to the perfect words. I will, until the day I die, love Ernest Hemingway. And you could call him whatever you want. Call him a misogynist, I don't believe he was. I genuinely don't. And having talked to his best friend, A.E. Hotchner, I feel like I got a little bit of insight into how Hemingway related to women, and he was not a bad person. I mean, maybe he was a bad boyfriend, but he was not a bad person.
And I was corrected by Lady Swan. I said Bernie the dinosaur. It's Barney. That shows you how connected I am to that whole scene.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the difference between Bernie or Barney. Or Snuffleupagus. Well, I know Snuffleupagus. But
There you go. And Malted in Montreal, did you see his?
I admire garbage men because there's no way I would do that job. I admire the busboys for taking crap from everyone. I admire dishwashers because they work their asses off for slave wages. Wow, yeah, you nailed it right there. I mean, talk about people who do things and do them well that we would never want to do ourselves. And that's...
Service industry is so underappreciated.
Absolutely. I feel the same way about servers.
Waitresses, waiters.
And they only work for tips most of the time. And I don't think people
Here in
realize
the States,
that.
Yeah. Overseas, it's totally
very
different in
different
how
overseas.
they do it.
Yeah.
And they get all kinds of benefits and things like that outside the U.S. We're here.
It's very
totally
bare bones.
underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed there.
I see Donna is back. She disappeared on us.
And Real Wicked Canadian says, "Hey, David, the producer, can you tell Juliette who I am?" Of course, you know who that is. That's Ron Toyman.
I thought he was RWC Cars, although I guess RWC.
He's both now.
Oh,
this is a new.
Oh, this is the new one.
New.
Oh my gosh, I can't keep up with you.
So he changes his name more than I change my underwear.
He does. Now, I see Malton in Montreal is saying, "I'm a bartender, so I hate waitresses." LOL.
Donna Cantor throwing in the David the producer. Hello there, handsome brother. Boy, she must need. I think she has cataracts. I'm gonna guess she has cataracts.
Really? I call you handsome all the time.
And that's why I know you drink. I get it. Don't worry.
You're saying I have booze goggles on?
Yes, you do. And good for you for that.
And Container Man says he doesn't want to get into it, but truck drivers are underappreciated. Amen to that. You guys are out there hauling ass for hours and hours and days and weeks and
away from family. Away from the long haul truckers. And I know that Roy is one of those guys. Mm-hmm. He does the long hauls.
Right.
Local guys, it's just a pain in the ass because traffic and stuff, and it is hard.
Absolutely.
But I think it's the long haul drivers that are like,
it's brutal.
They're making huge sacrifices.
Yeah, it's not all Smokey and the Bandit out there.
No, it's certainly not. Not as much as you like to think so.
I'd like to give an honorable mention to Burt Reynolds as an unofficial hero because, man, do I dig him. I think he was just a blast.
Oh, well, yeah.
And maybe I'm confusing hero with idol.
Or just icon.
Icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Burt Reynolds quite fits into hero category.
Well, no.
Though.
Redneck hero, perhaps.
Wasn't he married to Lonnie Anderson?
He was married to Lonnie Anderson. And
that's
they had
hero
a
status
volatile
enough
relationship.
For me. Yeah. That's enough
they did
hero
not
for
get
me.
along. I see you have Martha Gellhorn in a photo. Oh, and there's Mary. Hemingway and Martha Gellhorn had perhaps one of the most explosive relationships in literary history. I mean, those two just worked each other to the bone, and not in a good way. I think at the end they both wound up hating each other.
Well, he went through a lot of wives.
4.
Yeah.
To be exact.
I consider that kind of, you hit above the second one, you got to look inwards and say, maybe it's me.
Well, in that case, it was the both of them equally.
There you go.
Yeah, she was not a nice lady.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Well, you want to talk about next week?
I do indeed. I want to talk about next week, and I want to talk about the week after. So you're watching Bourbon Soak Live, which is every Monday night at 7 p.m. Next week, I haven't decided what we're going to be talking about, but the week after that...
You have future plans.
I have future plans. We're going to be doing a Bourbon Soak Pajama Party. We'll be sharing our top 5 favorite holiday movies. We're going to be getting Festivus Fuck up here. It's going to be cool.
Are you like taking that tag? Is that a new tag
Festivus
for you? Festivus Fuck? Is that your new Christmas?
That is my new Christmas slogan.
Okay. Festivus Fuck.
Hashtag Festivus Fuck.
All right. Just checking.
In 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, wear your pajamas, get all cozy and comfortable, and join us here at 7 p.m. Central Time. And get Festivus Fuck with Bourbon Soak Live.
Well, that's a problem for me because I sleep in the nude.
Well, David, the producer, is going to be naked.
Well, no, that's not true.
You can wear a loincloth.
Great.
It'll be awesome. But yes, we're going to be getting all cozy and talking about holiday movies and feeling all Christmassy and everything because it is the Christmas season. And what fun would it be if we didn't talk about our favorite Christmas movies? Gaffa says, do I have to wear pajamas because I don't own any? Gaffa, as long as you're covered, it'll be okay. I don't want to see anything hanging out there,
You mean dragging?
Dragging, dripping, whatever.
Oh, you had to take it there.
I see Dream Walking Angel has just joined us and says that this sounds like the best slumber party ever attended. Absolutely. I will remind you all about this again next week because this is going to be a hell of a good time.
And we're going to put up all the pictures of people in their jammies on Bourbon Soaked Live.
Yes. Remember, hashtag Bourbon Soaked Live on Twitter. If you haven't done it already, take a photo of yourself tonight, hanging out and watching the show, and post it to Twitter using that hashtag. There's our favorite folks, Ginger and Will. There's Kermit the Frog.
I don't know if there's something new here. Oh.
Sorry, no face reveal.
That's awesome, but she's still having a drink.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. I can't read the name. It's really small. Can you tell me who that is, love?
Vexicare.
Perfect. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your photo.
Oh, here's another one from Ginger.
Oh, yay.
Ginger and Will.
You two are so cute together. I love it.
There you go.
Oh, you guys are just so cute. You make me want to just squeeze your faces.
So we'll feature and continue to feature all the pictures on Bourbon Soak Live. Just do the hashtag Bourbon Soak Live on Twitter.
Let's see. Oh, I wanted to call out. I see Malted in Montreal says his hero would have to be Lester B. Pearson, the founder of Universal Healthcare for all Canadians.
Oh.
Wow.
See?
I would not have known that if you hadn't mentioned it.
Did not know the name.
In other news, Gaffa is going to be naked with you, David.
Wow. I just got a neck twitch on that one.
Yeah, I literally see his eyelid twitching like this right now. So, on that note.
Well, you got to end the show on me naked with Gaffa?
I do, because it's going to make people come back.
You may have to get a new producer.
Well, I'll be wearing pajamas, and, they'll be naked. So don't forget, y'all, I have a podcast. It's called The Unwritable Rant. It's a little bit more contained than this wily show. I tell stories about my bourbon soak life, and you can find The Unwritable Rant wherever you find podcasts, whether it's iTunes or Android, Stitcher, Laughable. I'm on them all.
Yeah, and you had on week before last.
Leif Garrett.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of the 70s and you remember Leif, he'd put out a memoir.
Yes.
His first one.
And we were talking comedians earlier on in the show. And if you're a fan of comedy, I've had some seriously amazing comedians that I've been so lucky to talk to, like Bert Kreischer,
Ari Shaffir,
Jim Norton,
Bobby
Slayton, and Anthony Cumia.
Right.
So
they're all out there. You can see them in the
catalog.
Nick DiPaolo was awesome.
Fucking love Nick DiPaolo. That's one of my favorite interviews. So, and that's...
And even Dave Landau from...
Oh, yeah, Dave Landau was on, too. He is such a cool guy.
And Gino Bisconti.
Yeah. I'm
cool
hoping
people.
to rope into doing this show in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
So, I think that's enough out of me. If you liked the show, make sure you like it. Make sure you give it that big old thumbs up. Tell your friends and be here next Monday night at 7 p.m. so we can talk some more and hang out and drink and, get all cozy. And until then, y'all, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. We've had a great crowd tonight. Wendell Live is here, Viewed This, Donna Cantor, Gaffa, Wes, Anthony, Container Man, Ginger and Will, Donner Pass was here earlier.
You're going to miss a whole bunch of people.
Malted in Montreal. Mash and Drum was here.
Yes.
All of our friends. So thanks so much for supporting this show and being here and hanging out. And
Dave Larson. I almost forgot Dave.
And Dave Larson. I've really enjoyed hearing the people that you admire. And you've given me some kind of cool ideas. I'm going to go and look up some of these folks and learn a little bit more about them, including George Washington from Jerry. Because apparently I don't know enough about him. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great night and a great week. I'll be back next Monday night. Cheers, y'all.